Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Check with Tech, your guide to all things tech. I'm your host, Yaseen Azzam, and let's get started, shall we? First things first, let's take a break from Alphabet and Fitbit and go to what Google wants for protection, basically. A couple of days ago, Google announced that it's teaming up with 3 security companies to help identify dangerous apps before they're even published on the Play Store, before they could even do harm on any Android user. And the partnership is called App Defense Alliance. Now, in theory, this is good news, because who wants to download malicious apps if it's not your device? Android is on over 2.5 billion devices, according to Google. So, why though? Anyway, Google has chosen ESET, Lookout, and Zimperium to help scan for not so good apps. So that's actually really good. We don't have anything further than that so far. I hope this thing works because, come on, who doesn't want privacy in this time, actually? And next up, let's stick with Google for one more news, I guess. Google launched OpenTitan. What's that? Well, it's an open source secure chip design project. Yes. Basically, Google partnered with several other tech companies to develop it. The aim of this is to build trustworthy chip designs for use in pretty much anywhere. So what do I think of this? It's good since Google already has their Titan chips, which are really secure. So to make a chip design project like this, it's inspiring. Yeah, always share knowledge that's useful for the world. And now, from Google to one of their competitors who tried to beat Android, Microsoft. You guys have USBs, you have CDs, DVDs, any exportable item that stores data. Well, now Microsoft, together with Warner Brothers, did that, but with a piece of glass. So, yeah, Microsoft, after years of research, they finally had produced a piece of glass that is 7.5 centimeters long and 2 millimeters thick, that contains the entire 1978 classic Superman. Yes, an entire movie is held into a little piece of glass. How does this work? Let's take a look. Well, the project is meant to provide new ways to physically store information for long periods at lower costs. So, yeah. How do they do this? Well, the glass is designed to withstand being baked in an oven, microwaved, sourced with steel, scoured with steel wool, demagnetized, and other environmental threats, Microsoft says. Then the glass is encoded with a device called a femtosecond laser that releases extremely short pulses that makes a high level of detail. And then the lasers encode data in voxels. Voxels are 3D units carved directly into the glass, and then boom, you can watch movies from a piece of glass. Who would have thought that would happen? Not me, to be honest. How do I feel about this? Well, if it's not shattered easily, then I feel actually good. I hope this sticks for the future. And now let's stick with Microsoft because they just released their brand new Microsoft HoloLens 2. It's been a while, but Microsoft has done it again. The Microsoft HoloLens 2, it's in the name, it's equal to the HoloLens. To be honest, in my opinion, when I first saw the HoloLens, I don't know when was that, 2015 maybe? I thought to myself, there's no way that would work, and it would feel uncomfortable, and I still feel uncomfortable about it. But the HoloLens 2, what does it have? Well, they say it's more comfortable. I never tried it, so we'll see. They say it's more comfortable, a bigger field of view. It's long lasting. It will have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 850 compute platform, SoC, and a second generation custom built holographic processing unit with Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 5, and USB Type-C. Yay! Let's see what else. Basically anything that you would find on a regular holographic pair of glasses. Well, I mean, sure, but the price it's a little heavy. $3,500. Wow, I mean it's available today, but I don't know. For now, I don't feel comfortable whenever somebody says the word hologram. I mean, how do you interact with something that you can't touch without getting uncomfortable? I mean, in my opinion, phones and tablets and laptops work fine because, I mean, you can actually touch the glass or the screen. But here, it's basically thin air, like nothing. I don't know how that will work, but they say there will be better and more hand gestures than ever. So we shall see. You guys remember when you were little and you thought that lasers were so cool and so destructive and whatever? Actually, yes, but not the way that you think. A bunch of professors and professionals at the University of Electrocommunications in Tokyo and the University of Michigan, they figured out a way to hack your Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, basically any smart speaker with lasers. Yes, I am actually being completely serious. By actually aiming at the microphones of those smart speakers, the researchers said that they were able to make the microphones respond to light as if it was sound. They said, exploiting this effect, we can inject sound into microphones by simply modulating the amplitude of a laser light. I mean, what? Excuse me. How? They wrote an entire research paper for it, so I mean, they did tell us how, but I mean, is there a way to stop it? I mean, but then again, I think it's a specific type of laser that it's really hard to acquire. I don't know about that, but I think it's hard for you to do that unless without some sort of super complex setup or anything, but that's still worrying. I mean, I don't own a smart speaker, but that's still, I mean, that makes me nervous whenever I think of getting one. I mean, if that laser is portable in the next couple of years, who knows what's going to happen to all of us? I mean, soon we could have all our passwords stolen, and then we could have our Teslas running around through America somewhere. I don't know. Okay, this is very worrying. So, but I mean, thank God it was just a test. So yeah. Now let's go to the highlight of this episode. Xiaomi just had an event at the time of this recording around 3 days ago, and they mostly announced a couple of devices, but I'm going to focus around two, and that's the Mi Note 10 or the CC9 Pro if you're in China, and the Mi Watch. First, let's focus on the Mi Note 10/CC9 Pro. And looking at the pictures right now, the colors are absolutely stunning. I mean, it will come in three colors: Midnight Black, Glacier White, and Aurora Green. But in my opinion, Aurora Green looks a bit more blue than green. Anyway, it will have Xiaomi's latest skin for Android, MIUI 11. It will have a 6.47-inch 3D curved AMOLED display, so the glass is covered on the front and on the back. And to have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G, which of course isn't as strong as the 855 Plus, but still good enough for games. A huge 5260 mAh battery with a 30-watt charging brick in the box. I think 30 is a little low. And to have a headphone jack. I'm clapping. I'm so happy it has a headphone jack. No, I'm actually being completely serious. It's so rare that you find headphone jacks nowadays. I mean, I know some people who don't spend their money on wireless headphones, and they just stick with any phone that has a headphone jack. It will be the first phone to feature a penta-camera setup, but there's more. And one of them will have 108 megapixel sensor inside. 108 is too much. I mean, sure, I've heard of 32, 48, probably 64, but 108, that's almost twice as much. The phone will launch at November 6th, and it will start at 549 euros. Of course, with Xiaomi's tradition, extremely cheap phones, especially for their features. And my god, the camera's 5 on the back. I mean, the camera setup, it reaches half of the phone's height. Wow. Okay, the cameras. Get ready for this. 108 megapixel f1.698 82 degrees OIS lens, a 12 megapixel portrait camera, f2.02 times optical zoom camera, a 20 megapixel 117 degree ultra wide f2.2 camera, a 5 megapixel 5 times telephoto camera, f2.0 OIS, 10 times hybrid zoom, 50 times digital zoom, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a 32 megapixel f2.0 selfie camera. Whew. That was a mouthful. You could go back and slow the playback. I'm not sure every podcast player has it, but in my website it sure does. So, you can go back, or unless you have really good ears, you don't need to do that. But it has a camera for every scenario. I think this could be, in my opinion, the best camera setup for versatility. It probably even beats the iPhone 11 Pro or Pro Max. To be honest, the only thing that's holding me back from buying it is, as I said, the Snapdragon 730G processor. It's not really that responsive. It does take time for you to launch the camera app. And about, let's see what else. That the camera setup, they have one heck of a camera bump. And I think they might be uncomfortable because every time you're holding the phone, you are always touching the lower two lenses. So yeah, if those were perfected, I would get it like that. But then again, it's not the only thing Xiaomi showed us. They also showed us the Mi Watch. And Xiaomi, for a long time, they had a history with smartwatches, specifically for fitness tracking and sports. I have the Mi Band 3 and it's absolutely almost perfect. But it's time for Simon to enter the true smartwatch. The Mi Watch, it's almost exactly like the Apple Watch. It has a square body with a crown and a button. And the crown and the button will be on the right side. Does that sound familiar? It sports a 1.78-inch AMOLED display, 326 ppi, pixels per inch, in case you didn't know that. With always-on display, yes, and runs MIUI for watch. It's based on Google's Wear OS, which might be fixed with the acquisition of Fitbit that we talked about, I think, last episode. It will be powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon Wear 3 100 4G chipset with 4 Cortex-A7 cores clocked at 1.2 GHz. Basically what I'm saying is good performance with 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of storage. I remember the days when 1 GB of RAM was more than enough. I miss those old days. And then it will have cellular connectivity with an eSIM, a Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, and NFC chip for payments. We talked about that last episode. And the Mi Watch should last for 36 hours on a single charge, even on cellular mode, the company says. I hope it does. And it will have more than 40 popular Chinese apps, such as TikTok. Yes. Is it really that popular in China? Okay, it will be available on day 1. And it will have the Xiaomi's own Zio AI. Am I pronouncing that right? Yeah. It's a smart assistant just like Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, like that. The Mi Watch will be priced at $185. I mean, sure, it's a little bit pricey compared to the Mi Bands. And yeah, and it will have another version where it will have sapphire glass and stainless steel. That one will be for $285. Nice. I'm just a little bit worried about battery life. I mean, the Mi Band had so much battery life. Even on my watch, it stayed up like 3 weeks and it's still 30% now. But then again, I shouldn't compare it really to the Mi Watch, since it's a completely different perspective on smartwatches. To be honest, good for them. I mean, I like that companies are trying to expand their horizons. And yeah, if you're still watching, I'm surprised that you're still watching too. I think, yeah, this is the longest episode so far on this podcast, so we'll just wrap it up for here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Don't be afraid to watch any of my other episodes. And until next time, this is Yaseen Azzam signing out. See you next week.